CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
Hello again, listeners, and welcome to CalazCon. I am your GM, Elspeth, pronouns she, her, and you can find me on Twitter at 33eels, that's 33eels, or Tumblr at Eelspeth, that's like my name, but with an extra E at the start. Today, I'm joined by Don.
Hi, I'm Don. You can find me on Twitter at ANR_echo. My pronouns are he and him.
Thank you. And Sabriel.
Hi, I'm Sabriel. My pronouns are she and her. You can't find me on the internet.
And Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt, and my pronouns are he and him, and you also can't find me on the internet.
And finally, Philo.
And finally, Philo. My name is Philo QT Hazard. I use the they and the thems. I am at Philo Hazard anywhere that matters, and most places that don't.
Great. Perfect. Finally. This episode is brought to you by our squad sponsor, Lily Young, and this episode's sponsor, Nora Reed. And with that, let's get started. During your last mission, you successfully repelled an attempted invasion of Artist's Alley by the Vermin under the cover of a distraction in the form of a huge CalazClash event, and also disguising a member of their own as the lead actor of the event. In the process, you also managed to make some friends somehow at CalazClash, and most importantly, Julius, you revealed yourself as the turncoat general of the Jovangelian forces to Serpent's Fangs, a squad largely consisting of your former Jovangelian allies and generals. I believe that covers just about everything, except, of course, Burnout. You came to a decision just after we stopped recording. You have declared Slipaway Bolt, the pilot of the Stolen Hope of Calazar, as a rival.
I have, yes. I am up in arms at this interloper who claims to be faster than me. That's not going to stand.
Of course not.
I'm going to kick his ass. Yes, and as a new rival, I've added him to my sheet, and that means I have a level 1 belief with Slipaway Bolt, and that's, you can steal a machine, but you can't steal talent. He's going down.
Oh, I'm sure of it. This does also mean that you have a rival in the Vermin, so that brings your status with them down 1, combined with your other general offences against them. You're at -2 with them. You are 1 step away from an all-out vendetta, but that's not going to happen, right? Nah.
I wouldn't worry about him.
Why would it?
That'll definitely never come up.
I'm sure of it. Right, well, with that, I'll move us over to the Downtime screen on Roll20. I try to find some visual references for your forward operating base, and a Creative Commons license really came through for me in just the most wonderfully awful way possible.
Oh, good. I'm excited to see that.
I like these little tokens. This is nice. This is well put together.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
Let's...
Oh, the actions.
Yeah, let's
wonderful.
go on
this is
a
gorgeous.
little tour here. So, for the listeners, the images that we are looking at, images of, I believe, a monorail station in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the Hollywood Hotel in Disneyland, and the now recently defunct Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel experience made by Disney.
Which of these is the Star Cruiser? I genuinely can't tell.
It's above material.
Oh, it's the one with all the neon.
Yeah, it's got all
flux
like the
on.
red couches and the slight science fiction vibes, right?
Yeah, it looks nothing
Yeah.
like Star Wars. Major fumble.
No. Yeah, it is interesting how I feel like with some of these images, it's like there's a little bit of sort of futurism in all of them already, which just makes it even harder to distinguish. But yeah, I figured on the one hand, on the Star Cruiser side of things, your forward operating base is, as a reminder to the listeners, an expropriated CalazCon resort hotel and terminus for the convention monorail. So the sci-fi franchise vibes are there, but also Calazar is a franchise. It is a ton of messy things stuck together, which sort of brings in the sort of Disneyland aspect of it. So I feel like somewhere between these two touchstones, we're on the right track. And the other thing that you can hear our players discussing is we have a very fancy Downtime playmat with some movable supply tokens and so on. I'm going to delete one of these because it would be the material that one of you spent on upkeep.
Or two of them, I guess.
Well, the other one would be the floating one that was already on your sheet, so if you just delete that... Wait, no, I understand what you mean. Yes, I should delete two of these. So, yes, this is the other things that the players are commenting on is this very fancy Downtime playmat we have. This is called Cool Robot, with dots in between, like an acronym. I can't remember what the acronym stands for. I'm just very happy that it was possible, and I believe it is by Ada Quinn, who I think is on Twitter at Recombinatrix.
That's a dope-ass Twitter handle.
You each have 3 downtime activities, so just move one of your little tokens across to the relevant one when you've taken it. Who has something in mind that they would like to get out of the way first?
I gotta fix my mech. I don't know if we want to do that now, but boy, I gotta fix my mech.
You do need to do this.
I think in terms of fixing as well, it's you don't have to be taking the fix action yourself. Our favourite engineer, who will probably be, I guess it's going to be Burnout doing it since he's got the points at engineer, can make the roll and get the assist.
I don't think he can benefit from an assist, but I do believe I can spend an action to have him roll engineer, which is what I have been counting on, because oh boy, am I excited to have a scene with Mike.
Yes.
You are correct. It's always the pilot whose vehicle is being repaired who spends the downtime activity, and even if it's you doing that, you can spend it yourself and have the squadmate roll engineer.
Is there an assist as well on top of that, or is it just...
I can't assist with the roll, I'm pretty sure.
Anyone can assist, I believe. Why don't you think you'd be able to?
Oh, I just thought you couldn't assist on downtime actions.
Oh, no, you can. It's a free assist.
Oh, yeah, then
free.
Please have an assist.
I'm keen to have a potential cut loose with Junius from Mike as well. I want to have a cut loose with somebody because I've got some stress. We could do a cut loose first, or we could do a mech fixing first. How do you think?
I'm happy to do both. I think the mech fixing would make more narrative sense right now, because that is a reason that we have to be in the same room together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the main thing you are fixing from the mech is, of course, the immense stab wound that it took protecting you, Burnout.
Yes. Also pertinent to this fixing as well, I picked my special ability for my level up at the end of the last session. I'm going for Gearhead. So I know it's more of a narrative one. I know exactly what parts, manufacture, model year, etc. went into a machine. So that's going to be interesting for doing some of this fixing. And also I know that in terms of the way that the Toro Taru works, there is some like, how is it holding up this enormous other Ox mech? It's almost like it shouldn't happen. Like, I'm also happy to keep some mystique on that, at least for the start, in terms of whether or not Mike works out how that's working. I don't know if he will or not, but I think it would make sense for at least not to have any working out for that happening straight away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm really happy to do that. I mean, Julius has an answer for you if you want to directly ask him how that works, but I don't know if it'll be a satisfying answer.
Mike will want to work it out for himself.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes. But we can come into that down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do we want to lead with that? We can certainly do so.
I would love to lead with that. Who initiates this? Are you coming to me and being like, all right, gotta put your fucking shit back together? Or am I asking you?
I'm assuming that Mike, because before Mike was a pilot, he was like working in the engineering corps. Like his rank is like mechanist sergeant. You know, he's part of this crew, and I imagine there's going to be some support staff. Like I think the end of a line, which is the name of this monorail station, is quite bustling. There's going to be, you know, we've got board squadron. There's a lot of the NPC support staff from like the DFS siege line is kind of around here as well. I'm sure there's going to be like in the background the occasional thud of artillery from the 501st trying to like shoot at us, like not quite getting the range. What would have happened at the end of the mission? Would it just have like been brought in by the support staff? Because in my mind I was thinking just a scene of Mike just looking up at it, like just sucking his teeth as he's looking at this thing that's been brought in.
Yeah, no, that's good. Right, like Julius gets out of the cockpit and just starts like sort of, you know, doing like basic level maintenance and just like, you know, kind of almost like poking at it. Like he's just like, yeah. And
I think Mike's like the scene I was thinking about. He was at the bottom, like looking up at it, and I'm imagining that Julius is just like as he's come down to be like looking at it as well, right?
Yep.
And it's awkward.
Very.
It's palpable. He doesn't know what to say, and it's just like, yeah, it's quite a blow you took there.
Yep. Not the worst thing that's ever happened to it, but close.
Mike is interested by this. He's wondering if he can see any like scars from, because he's also surprised because this is a pretty bad blow. He's like saying, much worse than this, it would have been in pieces. Like, are there any scars around that indicate what some of this other damage might have been?
It's sort of a Ship of Theseus situation. It technically isn't the same mech.
Huh.
But my former mechanic insisted.
Makes sense. Mike like gets in and starts having a look at it. Like, not really asking for permission. He's just I imagine there's lots of like gantryways and stuff like this, like a ladder, like maybe Mike just like, he's not super ignoring you, but he's sort of ignoring the vibe to a certain extent.
Oh,
like
sure.
Trying to like, because Mike loves mechs. Like, you'll notice on his arm, he's got a tattoo sleeve that's got a lot of different mech types on it. Not necessarily just even, like, DFS ones, just, like, a lot of particularly speed-related mechs. And so he's definitely going in and, like, taking a look around. On the arm that doesn't have, like, this sleeve tattoo, he's got kind of like a Pip-Boy-esque, Power Glove-esque. Mm-hmm. And as you look, like, some tools go down the fingers. He always, like, spreads his fingers out and, like, a little holographic, like, scan comes out as he's like trying to have a look around some of these things. I was planning on giving your former mechanic some shit on doing a lousy job, but he seems he's kept this in pretty good nick, although frankly it seems like it's got the shit kicked out of it multiple times.
Yeah, they used to complain about that quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
A little hypocritical. They were there most of the times. So really, if they didn't want me to get it damaged, then maybe they should have done something about it. This is like rehashing an old argument in his head, you know? He's starting to clear some of the debris away from it, right? Like, just, you know, the bits that are not going to be salvageable, he's just sort of like taking them out of the, you know, the wound.
Can I suggest a moment?
Please.
Mm-hmm.
As you say that sentence, it's like, I'm picturing Julius's like hand just like reflexively also reaching across to brush some dust off one of the horns of a bull and like lingering a little.
Yeah, no, that definitely happens.
Michael is looking very puzzledly, almost like this shouldn't make sense. He's looking at his engineering glove. It's like the numbers aren't quite adding up, and he's looking very confused. He's almost lost in the source as he's going around looking at this mech from various different angles. Like, we get these like flash cuts of him looking at it from various different angles. And I'm imagining Julius, like, not moving at all. So, like, we get a flash cut of him in various different positions, and just in the foreground, Julius just not moving at all.
Yeah, nodding, occasionally just, like, doing some minor maintenance that he's capable of.
I think this is also a good moment to foreground the fact that, as you've said, the nature of the Toru seems paradoxical. It has, literally, as part of its gear, an iconic style, and Julius is the hero. So I think, especially with Julius's recent dramatic reveal of his presence to the Evangelion forces, you are not the only person wondering this. I think this attracts a lot of attention from people, other soldiers, staff just like walking through the workshop. I think maybe the way we punctuate this is we get all these flash cuts and see Burnout there looking puzzled, and then we hear a voice in the background and we pan to see that there's been like a gaggle of infantry watching this whole spectacle, and one of them just calls out something like, "I heard it was wizards, mate." "Yeah, it's the Evangelion warlock cult. They stuck it up there. Won't come down."
It wasn't wizards, but he's clearly amused by the idea.
Michael is infuriated by the concept of mech wizards. It's not magic. It's science. Everything, I think it's carefully balanced. Be careful about this kind of thing. You know how much time I have to put into making sure my ball bearings are... I had to shave them down. Save a couple of grams. Warlocks. And I think it looks like Michael is about to ask Julius something, and then as he's about to turn around and like ask a question, he nudges like a tool, like a spanner or something off, and it goes clanging on the ground, and it just breaks his concentration. He's like,
Yeah, and I think we get Julius just sort of like turning to walk away and saying, "You do good work. I don't expect there'll be any issues, but don't try to separate them. You couldn't if you wanted, but don't try."
Michael's eyes narrow, but he doesn't say anything. Except, just as you're about to leave, "We need to talk. But later."
Nod.
I guess I should make some kind of roll.
Yeah, I believe they get 3d6 for that, right?
Yes. Because my engineering is 2.
Uh-huh. +1 for the help.
Oh, it's a
Let's
fortune
see how
roll.
this goes. Yeah,
552.
Okay.
You fill in 2 segments. Congratulations, you're halfway to having level 2 damage.
I would like to just roll a second action into that, I think, if nobody minds, and just like have Mike roll it again, just so I can get to level 2 harm.
Sure, or we could spend some material to...
That would only
boost
get
up
me to
by 2.
3/4 of the way there. It's like more efficient in terms, because I can later, if we have any left over, spend a point of material and get another downtime action. So it's more it's more cost effective just to roll it again.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will make that other roll if that's okay.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Ooh, that's a 316.
All right. Cool. So I am down to level 2 harm with 1 point on the repair clock, which will vanish the second I take any damage. What is my level 2 damage that is a downgrade of impaled?
The blade has been removed. Some of the internals have been patched up, but there's still a hole there. How about sundered?
That feels like it's been cleft in twain.
Right, yeah. Okay, I was thinking like I was more thinking like the
Impacted?
armor's sundered, but you're right.
Penetrated?
We can't say
Gouged.
penetrate. Gouged
We
is
could
good.
absolutely say penetrated. We're talking about armor penetration here, okay?
Okay, all right, right, yeah.
We could.
Nothing
I
but
quite
the
like
regular
Gouge, though.
normal. Yeah, gouged is good.
And I think for the end, we get some more of these flash cuts of like these people walking, or Mike doing this fixing. You know, he's got this glove. We'll go into some more detail exactly how this works. He's got a few other little tricks to it, but we'll pan out from this one a little bit. And you know, Mike's there fixing it, like repairing it, hammering. You know, it takes a while. Like this is a big piece of damage, and we just it takes Michael quite twice as long as he initially thinks. Right, this is turning into an all-nighter. He's concentrating on it. He doesn't get close to separating the bull from the shoulder, but he's been close to where that join is, and his brow just furrows every time he looks at the bull. And the last shot we kind of get at him is like looking at the readings on his engineering glove, and we're just slightly under his breath, just going, nuisance. And I think that's that.
Great. Incidentally, Philo, why did you type holy in the chat? Oh, wait, I just got it.
Oh, that was my suggestion for... that was my suggestion for
I can't believe I had to say it out loud to get there. That's embarrassing.
Appreciate you, Elspeth. Thank you.
I suppose it's worth saying we automatically clear the level 1s, and our gang of toughs board squadron automatically clear one level as well. Is that right?
Yeah, they can take care of something like that in the background. Yeah. Burnout, does the Vector Mantis have any outstanding damage?
It just had a level 1. It was battered. Mechanically, that'll be handled as part of like free clear of level 1 ones, but we'll also see Michael heading over to do some bits on the Vector Mantis, spending a lot of time buffing it out, actually. Probably more time than actually repairing the thing, making it all very shiny and nice, in between the sessions of fixing up the Torotaro.
Perfect. I ask because I want to bring in something else of my own. Rampart, I know there are no issues with your mech at the moment, but would it be fair to say that you're probably found in the workshop at some point anyway, just doing like general tests,
so
tune-up?
Actually, if we want to talk about that, I am thinking of taking the enhanced downtime, one that starts upgrading a mech. Especially because we've lately acquired a testing facility for doing so.
Yes. If you're thinking of doing that, maybe we could describe what that looks like, and as the testing facility in the workshop feel kind of like Burnout's project to a sense. The workshop is your space. What does it look like, and what does adding the testing facility to it as one of the upgrades you've got in your level up last mission, what does that look like, and what does Rampart using it?
I think that basically, we've got this big bay, because since this is a hotel, right? So I imagine there's probably like a big parking garage type area, like almost like underneath it or off to the side. It's just been retrofitted. There's lots of like gantryways, and there's lots of like a crew. Like Burnout is like a mechanist sergeant. So I think there are like some NPCs walking around as well. The testing facility is something that Mike's been keen to get, chomping at the bit to get something where he can actually not just repair mechs, but be able to test out new things on them as well. And I think this is something he's probably been lobbying for resources for. And this is probably something that's been recently allocated. So there'll have been like a lot of big trucks, like, working their way up and like implanting like firing ranges and like a bunch of big panels that can be used to like be a wind tunnel or something like that, right? Or like a big tunnel that would have been used for monorail repair. We clear all this other stuff out of it and turn it into like a mech, like wind tunnel and things like that. A bunch of targets for shooting and calibrating. Yeah, we get a shot of the Vector Mantis's like machine gun mandible guns go like giving a quick retort on some of these like moving targets, like on the rails and things like that, right? In the background, that's something that's going on. A lot of these big trucks coming out and unloading a lot of this equipment, something that's finally managed to make its way through. And like I say, there's going to be NPCs here for Rampart to like talk to enhance the mech, to be able to give it a look at, especially if Mike's busy with the Torotaro at the moment. Yeah.
I mean, I think I would come straight to you, to be honest. I'd probably find time when you're perhaps done with the Torotaro repairs and actually take the opportunity to come and find Burnout in the test facility.
I was just going to say I really like the idea of that, because I like the idea of this being like Burnout's like passion project, like the idea that you've been putting supplies aside and advocating for this for a while, and then eventually just being... I'm almost imagining sort of like eagerness to be like, hey, I got my thing together, I need a guinea pig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, yes. Yeah, you've seen the Vector Mantis. Yeah, we come back. We've done this like test shots on these like moving targets and stuff like that. He scores some hits. Goes a little bit more calibration. He's looking at it. It could have been a little bit more centered. And it's like, let's say, how's it going?
Things are going well. I'm satisfied with our recent mission performance, but I wanted to approach you and ask for your assistance.
Oh?
Yes. Burnout, how long have you piloted the Vector Mantis?
Well, that's a good question. I've been working on it for over a year. It's been operational in some capacity for about half of that, but I've only really had it fully up for about a month, although I pretty much designed a lot of it. Well, it's based on how familiar are you with the DFS standard mechs?
I have a working knowledge of them, but I can't say I'm an expert.
Well, you see, this Epatsa Vector Mantis, in its original form, was a Gambit Iraya manufacturing shuttle class. An excellent high-speed fighter, very good for initial engagements. Unfortunately, this particular one I found wrecked up after a sortie. Hands and feet were crushed, so I had to replace them myself. But together with some help from our friends in the farm upstate, I was able to get it back in working order. So don't let the fact I've not been piloting it for this specific model for that long fool you. This is tuned to my exact specifications. And Mike's got this massive smile on his face as he's given an opportunity to talk about the Vector Mantis.
It's quite a machine, and your familiarity speaks volumes. I think you can certainly help me. The mech I'm piloting was not designed for me, and I think that in order to improve my combat capabilities, we should look to adapting it further to suit my own style of piloting and needs. If you could instruct me a little in the use of these facilities and introduce me to some of the staff you have here, I'd really appreciate the assistance.
Absolutely. I mean, you're a fellow user of Gambit Iraya. This is an S-Stock, if I believe. Pretty solid.
You are correct.
It looks up and down. Seems like it's, yeah. What are some things that I was on your sheet looking for some things that have been defined, and there's nothing on there. What's something that Mike might pick up on?
Yeah, so the Blade of Liberty is my mech, and as you already mentioned, it's an S-Stock, but it's a machine that has been adapted for the parade ground, but meant to still give a sort of imposing military appearance, right? It was designed for showing off in political circumstances as much as it was an actual weapon of war. It's obviously been rearmed for me to fight on the front lines, but some of those features are still in there, and it's probably not really you would consider it to be combat tested. I have been on the front lines a short while, but it's not seen as much action as even your mech, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I think Mike will tut and go, I will say, looks very nice, but he'll go ding ding, ding ding, clunk clunk, as a bit that's more plastic where it really should be metal. As he's looking at bits, yeah, this is a potential weak spot here. You really want to be honest, you probably want to strip out all of this. Well, I don't want to be rude, but effectively it's parade armor, right? You want to replace this with a more solid, maybe a 10-inch steel. Maybe we could overlay some stuff there. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff to be done. Hey, Spanners. Yeah, this is my friend Ipse. Yeah, we're gonna see if we can put this. Have you got the scanner? Yeah, we want to try and get a hollow mold made of this. We want to replace it with something a bit more structurally sound, if you'll have me. Yeah, this is Spanners. This is a youngish lady, dark-skinned, who's holding a clipboard and is looking very frantic. And this is not the first time, it seems, in the past hour that she has been asked by Michael to go and find something or do something for him. Spanners being the nickname. If we need to give her a different name, we can, or a full name, we can do that if we so need to. Yeah, I think listen, you've got running the facilities. It'd be good to get someone to check out this hollow mold. This is a pretty good opportunity for it, actually. And there's I think it's something that will take a scan, and then you can then do an effective 3D print or something like that to make some new armor or cast it or something like that. She'll do you right. I've got to get back to this, and I think this is partway between the fix actions before. It's I've got to get back to looking at this mech or two that Pallbearers had.
Yes,
actually, can I?
I understand there was significant damage to the Toritaru during our mission.
I think, unless you have something else that you definitely want to hit with this scene, I think this is the point where you glance back over in the direction of the workshop portion that's adjoining your testing facility where the Toru is. Incidentally, I know it's tricky, but it is Toru.
Okay.
If there's the U at the end and then everything else is an O.
It's not a big deal.
You glance over towards where it is as you mention it, and there is someone there that you do not recognize.
Hey, you authorized to be here?
You approach.
Snap.
This figure takes a second to respond. They are lounging kind of lackadaisically on like a step ladder, legs spread wide, and they're holding like a tablet, and it looks like they're like looking up at your setup, like looking around this big hangar bay, and they're just occasionally like tapping some buttons, like lifting up a tablet as if they're like they look like they're trying to like frame a photo, and just like nodding to themselves. You realize that they're not alone. They have two security guards with them who, as you approach, notice you and like move closer to flank them.
I think I'm mirroring that action with Mike.
Yeah, sounds wise. Here is the person that you're dealing with.
Okay.
Eventually they respond to your snapping and they just slowly turn to say, "Hi."
Hi. For the listeners, this is a lady wearing like a Hawaiian shirt,
Gay haircut,
white vest, top, and jeans.
Not necessarily a lady, pronouns they, them, but yes.
Okay.
Another pause. A glance over to where beyond the walls lies the other side of the DFS siege line. Never really could stand those 501st types. The theatre guys, we have talk about, what is it? Bleed all the time, and I always think it sounds like rubbish, but I look at the 501st and I think maybe they were onto something.
What? Dressing up like a bunch of idiots and pretending like you're in a cartoon series?
Oh, not them, the theatre guys. Talking about bleed. No, I agree, it's, certainly not what I would decide to do, and I'm not sure if it is pretend. I think that's the whole problem. You have to know it's pretend and own it.
Sure. Narrowed eyes.
You got on well with the theatre kids, didn't you? The other day at CalazCon.
Yes.
Yes, you just waltzed into their repair hangar, didn't you? They say, drawing a clear equivalence with what they are doing to you right now.
Mike is looking around and is like makes a little hand signal to get some of the other NPC support staff to, if they can catch what he's saying, to start kind of coming around to this area. Yeah, something like that. Maybe like hitting a silent alarm button somewhere. Can I help you with something?
Yes, you can. I mean, well, I really hope you can, because after all, it seems as if... I'm not one to count debts, but it seems as if you prevailed upon us a little in your last sortie. And I also understand that it is one of our esteemed colleagues, a certain Rico and Co., who helped you secure the logistics that let you expropriate this very building.
Yeah, we like to call it on-site procurement. Oh wait, wasn't it Jacob's Junkers that helped us with that?
I don't think so. Am I wrong?
That's the one we have the +1 with, and I thought that's...
Yeah, I thought that was thanks to Jacob's
You are
Junkers.
correct. I got my logistics companies mixed up. Yeah, okay.
We can retcon it. It's fine.
The other point still stands. I understand that you prevailed on my friends in CalazCon a little during your last sortie, and now I, Empress Gold, would like to prevail upon you.
Let's see. I think if the silent alarm's gone, anyone else who wants to be in this scene can be in this scene as well.
Just to get a bit more sense of the whole vibe here. As you talk to Empress Gold, you begin to get the sense that you are talking to a member of the early birds. The early birds are often talked about as being like the enthusiastic, die-hard CalazCon attendees, like being festooned in memorabilia and exclusive like swag, merch, whatever. There is a sense of that here, but it's like that mixed with an aura of elitism, of exclusivity. It's that combined with high fashion. Empress Gold is festooned in jewelry, but none of it is like straight up obvious merch. You're just occasionally like, oh, that diamond ring has inset in it the symbol of this faction. Oh, that necklace just looks like a completely normal necklace, but it's actually a replica of the one that the Doctor's wife wore in Season 8, Episode 5. Their clothes as well are like military, but military in that way where high fashion sometimes adopts like a paramilitary aesthetic. Like it's like, oh yeah, those cargo pants are in the like color of this like CalazCon squad, but also they're like just the right kind of baggy and slouching off the hip. They have exactly the right number of pockets and they're all at suitably quirky and jointy angles.
They're not wearing the Hawaiian shirts. They are wearing some high fashion, I see.
Mm-hmm. So has anyone else responded to this? I'm imagining like a sort of quick emergency page, like, you know, get in the workshop from Burnout.
Yeah.
So the emergency page, you can tap once for infantry, or you can tap twice for vehicle. What do you tap?
I tap for infantry.
All right, then I think True will come jogging out along with whatever members of board squadron she's been able to scrounge up. I think they're tugging on jackets or what have you, or wearing jackets loosely. They're like partly uniformed. True has some kind of machine pistol going on. I think there's some folks have got their like hand weapons out. Some folks have something sturdier, whatever they had to hand. Yeah, I think she'll call out across Michael's name, presumably.
Okay, how about Julius?
Oh, yeah, I suppose he's there. I didn't want to, step into too many scenes.
Yeah.
But he can be there in the background for sure.
You can be like backgrounds. Okay, in that I think that you arrive in time to catch the end of Empress finally like getting to their response to Burnout's initial question. So you arrived just in time to catch Empress saying, so we're just going to like load all of this up and take it out.
No, you're not. Hand strays to hit.
Oh, really? They turn to notice the new arrivals. Oh, and such a hostile response.
And Ipse is here as well. He looks pretty decked out, right?
It's funny you should say that, because I think the next thing Empress says is, really, we early birds, we're just so passionate. We're harmless. We're just some nerds who want to have fun. And I think, Rampart, this is said with a smirk in your direction. I think that Empress Gold has done their homework.
I'm not making any hugely aggressive actions right now, but I think even at that, I'll step like just slightly forwards, and my posture shifts a little bit. Burnout, probably with your knowledge of machines, you see some of the panels on one of my arm like segment slightly, and you see some kind of like energy emitters beneath them. My sort of mouth grill adjusts a little bit into a slightly angrier shape.
I don't think we've had your drive on screen yet. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. My drive is to prove that the early birds were never really a threat to the DFS, or never a long-term threat to the DFS. So in that regard, I agree with what Empress Gold is saying, but I'm catching a tone that I don't particularly like here.
Yeah.
I think Mike to that says, I saw what happened when your lot dropped. You need to get out now. And I think you were saying you weren't being overtly aggressive. Mike is being overtly aggressive. If they didn't have any bodyguards with them, a fight might have broken out by now.
Oh, No, I don't think so. Do you not realize what you're sitting on here? See, I'm going to make a bet. You don't know the value of what you have here. Some of this equipment maybe you brought here yourself, but some of it was here when you arrived. And you know what? It was here when the DFS arrived, too. You can't tell me you haven't noticed it. Your arc welders, they don't make the same sparks as the ones that you're clearly so accustomed to using. There's a slight purple tint to them, just like the show. The hoists that you're using for these mechs, they're calibrated, they're oiled to make, you know the noise? You know, they make that noise. These things are here for style just as much as function. These are proprietary CalazCon repair bays. And there are people who will pay dearly to see those, especially now that, thanks to you, they've seen real combat action. And thanks to you, no one else in CalazCon is getting to use these.
Yeah, no one, says Mike, getting in their face.
On that note, I think it's time to explicitly lay out what I'm putting on the table here. This is your entanglement. Requisition. A cohort, squad upgrade, or acquired asset is requisitioned by another squad. You have 3 options. 1. Give up the item. Take +2 trust with that squad's patron faction. 2. Bribe the caller with personnel equal to your tier +3. 3. Hide the object or fight back, and lose 1 status with that squad and 1 relationship with their faction.
Which is the upgrade they're targeting here?
The workshop. The whole workshop.
Oh, not the enhancement?
No, it's the workshop's repair one. Right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need that.
Yeah, we do need
We
that.
do kind of need that.
Yeah, we get our mechs.
I kind of want to...
Yeah.
Frankly, even if we didn't need that, I want these people to go
Yeah.
away.
I kind
like
of want to
'em.
fight them.
I think they're nice. Julius doesn't, but me, out of character, I think they're delightful. So what are our options besides giving them the thing, which we're not doing probably?
Bribe them and pay supply, or fight them and pay...
How much supply?
More personnel than we have, I believe.
It'd be a total of 5 personnel. If you wanted to do that, I would let you, collect to get that personnel and then pay it. If you wanted to do that.
I think we should fight them.
Yeah,
I
also
also think we should fight them.
It's 3
Yeah.
of them, right? Yeah, I mean, not even necessarily fight, but also True will fire a warning shot and is currently carrying a machine pistol.
You seem to find yourself vastly outnumbered.
Yeah, what does this look like? Is it just Empress God has their hands spread out, laying out their deal? And is it literally just there's a beat and then there's a retort of 3 shots pinging off the ceiling?
Yeah, I think maybe do we get a shot of everyone on the squad just kind of looking vaguely dangerous?
And then, True, you want to fire a warning shot.
Yeah, I think it's a machine pistol, so 1 shot is kind of tricky, but I pop out 3 in quick succession just into the
That's
concrete.
even cooler.
We're not open to collectors. Move along. Her voice kind of echoing out across the space.
All right. Okay. I'm leaving.
Do they leave?
But they're backing away and ushering their soldiers back with them. But they're talking as they leave. And they're saying, I'm just saying, I might have got some people very excited about this, and some of those people might not have the kindness or delicacy that I do.
That sounds very difficult for them.
Yes, it is, but the results are worth it. All of us in this mess have a cause, a family, and it all sort of cancels out. It's a bit of a zero-sum game. You know what the tiebreaker is? It's style. And we are going to win the tiebreaker. And with that, Empress Gold turns and leaves.
Yeah, we really need to work on the security around here. Spanners, we need to do a...
The hell did they get on site? Who let them in? Looking around the place.
Must have snuck in with the training facility drop-offs.
Some shrugs. I don't know. I mean, this is where having like generic paramilitary high fashion works for you. You end up looking like very generic. All right, so that's -1 status with the early birds and -1 relationship with CalazCon, taking you to -2.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I thought we had a point of trust with CalazCon.
You have a point of status with Calaz Clash,
Oh.
but you lost status with the overall faction. It's a sort of weird asymmetric situation that you often get.
Yeah, I mean, individual squads can have perspectives about us that aren't, that don't toe the party line, right? Do we have any idea what Early Birds' opinion of us is? Any thoughts on her adjective there? Or phrase or moniker?
Violent.
Unstylish.
Mid.
Mid.
I feel like we already have, like, no fun. Yeah, we already have, like, killjoys or something.
Oh, we have buzzkills. Yeah.
We have bland and buzzkills
Yeah.
Oh,
already.
okay, yeah.
On this faction.
We are the no fun zone squad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why petty springs to mind.
Yeah, no, I think petty works. Like, you can't see the vision.
Yeah, Petty's good.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's kind of like small fry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cheap, kind of measly.
So, that's your entanglement out of the way. Any other problems you cause are entirely your own doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think whilst we're still in this kind of bay, I'm going to do an enhance action as well. I think that we don't need to dwell on it too much, but I think at some point, we've already seen Mike in the testing facility, so I think that's...
Nice.
Yep, and
Okay.
I've done the little mechanical bits of mine as well, seeing as we were just about to start upgrading my Mac when we were rudely interrupted by Empress Gold.
Oh, Pear, you've still got all 3 of your downtime actions. How are you feeling about those?
Really good. Right, okay, I've got some to-dos. I've also got a whole bunch of stress, which is probably why I, came out and started blasting. Danny DeVito.gif. Right, I think we're going to start off by cutting loose. And in our usual game, I have a bureaucrat, so I have to regular cut loose. I'm not allowed to share it with another person. This is awful. How do you people live like this? Right, I'm going to start off with... I know we wanted to have a scene at some point, Julius. Do you want to make it that? Or shall I start with Ipse? Admittedly, I've got quite a lot of stress to burn and not much else to do with my downtime, so who knows, maybe 2 cut loose. We'll see.
I strongly suspect I'll end up having a cut loose with Mike later, so maybe if we want to get everyone in, you can do it with Ipse, and we'll do our scene later.
Okay. I quite like that. I mean, we had the au pair and Ipse scene, or the trio and Ipse scene during the mission, so I kind of like that. I also think I can think of something to feed into my connection with Ipse, if that sounds good to you, Dom.
Yeah, that sounds very good.
Sick. Where does Ipse stay on the base? Do they have a room?
I think I have a room, but I don't really use. Like, I think as a sort of
Interesting.
formality almost, right? Like, DFS thinks that pilots need rooms, so I've got one assigned. But, yeah, like, I am fully artificial as far as I'm concerned. Ipse does not do a lot of regular biological functions, like necessarily needing sleep. I maybe power down sometimes, but I also don't have a huge amount of belongings beyond my military gear and pilot gear and stuff, so I have like a basically storage closet. As far as spending time, I do volunteer myself for like patrol duty and guard duty a lot, and apart from that, spend time doing work on my Mac that we spoke about. Those are probably the most likely places to find me.
I think what happens is you report for one of your guard duties at some point, just a general perimeter patrol, maybe a gatekeeping, and you find that it's been reallocated to a new zone, which happens to be like a 50-foot square of tarmac just outside the base, where True is sitting with a large like industrial bucket and the truck.
Okay. I show up and I see True, and as I say, this doesn't seem like a optimal guard assignment. I don't necessarily see the strategic value in this square of tarmac.
I mean, you could be watching the sky. She kind of gestures upward. I bet the sky around here is busy, even with the artillery fire and what have you. You know, I think you can see, probably on a clear night, you can see, you know, starships up above and what have you. Definitely, you know, hardware up in space. I bet there's loads of light pollution, actually.
I was going to say, there's really a lot of, like, holographic light or, like, laser light, neon colours coming off the con. Yeah.
There's a big cactus as well, I believe, on the siege line.
Oh, there is a big cactus as well. Good for him. Diversity win. Big cactus. So I think it's tongue-in-cheek in that case. You know, you could be watching the skies, and you look up at the sky, and it's the Cowboy Bebop style,
a big
flickering
cactus.
neon lights, the big cactus, some literal explosions going off in the distance, but, you know, you can see more the shape of them than you can feel the boof. You always seem to have duties assigned. I thought you could do with a minute.
Guarding this place keeps my thoughts clear, would be the best way to describe it.
Guess that doesn't mean there aren't, maybe other things that you could be trying. I mean, all work and no play, right? Maybe that's just me.
I can spare some time to, indulge you. Sure. What did you have in mind?
Indulge me? And she gives a little smile. I don't know if you've been formally introduced. This is Long Reach, and the truck kind of shudders, and a mechanical arm with a large sniper rifle on it sort of unbuckles from the back of the mech and straps it to the arm of the truck itself. There's a large red mechanical eye on the sniper rifle itself, which kind of blinks. I kind of, for want of a better word, look after them.
Do you think Longreach speaks in this moment?
Longreach can speak if they're not too shy about it.
Yeah, I think there's a sort of, like, stuttering, like, hi!
It's a pleasure.
It's rare to meet another artificial person, I guess. Figured it was worthwhile you two getting to know each other, and I figure I owe you one for the mission and all, so... And, well, you know, Longreach has been a little... during the mission, they had to pull some tricky shooting, I guess, and, she sets the large bucket in between them, and it is full of tennis balls. I just figured it'd help with some close range stuff. You got a throwing arm built in there?
I sort of deliberately make the servos in my arm sort of whir loudly as I kind of like roll my shoulder a little bit.
True gives a little like polite clap, golf clap.
Before we proceed, because it seems like it's going to be pretty pertinent, can we get a rundown of Rampart and Opa's beliefs about each other?
So yeah, my belief about Opa right now is that her relationship with Longreach reminds me of my former life, and I am jealous of this.
And conversely, I see Longreach and Ipsay. They should be protected. You know, just two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
A complicated coin. True tries to bowl a tennis ball, and like it goes a reasonable distance. I think it's probably still... You know, she's trying to throw to, like, a mech range, which even talking close up is probably still, like, I don't know, like 30, 50 feet. So I'm not sure she can bowl that to a height that Longreach can hit it, at least for the first few balls. How does Ipsay do initially?
I mean, I think pretty good. It probably maybe takes me a moment to work out exactly how I should throw a ball. It's not something I am used to doing. Like... It's probably grenade throws somewhere in the back of my programming. But adjust that a little bit, and then, yeah, it's... When I try and do, like, fast physical motions, it's loud and it's snappy, but it's effective as well. So I can put a good bit of distance on those tennis balls.
So it's a snap, and then, of course, there is the whoosh kaboom of Longreach echoing out.
Oh, and I think definitely I talk to Longreach while I'm doing this as well. There's a lot of like, you ready? And then I wait for Longreach to reply before I throw the ball as well.
That's extremely cute.
Yeah, I think this is fun. Rampart is a former bodyguard. So it sounds like because of those sort of instincts with you, like motion is kind of like all or nothing. You're standing watch or you're doing something very urgently.
Let's get down, Mr. President.
There's a lot of, it's very Secret Service. It's very, you should be invisible by not moving until you need to move. Or at the very least, you are in a room, but not participating in a room, right? So again, it's important to just sort of not make your presence super obvious.
I like the idea that it's this image of Oper giving like a few of these like very gentle slow balls, and then it say steps up and immediately it's just like a massive increase in intensity. And I think for long reach there's like a sort of, after a couple, they're like, oh, yeah, I think I'm getting the hang of this. And then it's just immediately followed by like a sort of weird like mechanical yelp as Ipse's throw makes them like twitch upwards. Yeah, I think that they're really happy to talk to you, Ipse. I imagine that the first thing they say is probably something like, oh, yeah, I saw you. You were doing that good job with the infantry on the ground. It took me a while to make you out and recognize you because you were awfully small from up there. I mean, I have pretty good magnification, but I was focused on other things at the time. And I don't mean to say you're small, you know. Just, yeah, good job.
Thank you. You really made a pretty good shot there at the end as well. So, likewise.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think Longreach says, thank you. I do feel like if I thought I could have had time, I could maybe have calibrated where the other half of it would land. But True says, I know, True, it's not my fault. I know.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this. It's, training and maybe bonding a little. She kind of pulls at her collar a little bit.
I imagined that maybe the image of this we get is, tell me if this is wrong, I feel like Longreach is actually uncannily competent at this. Like, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, Longreach can make any shot, because that takes the sort of interest and tension out of the thing. But I enjoy the idea of, like, we get the sense of, like, Longreach is the weapon. Longreach is preternaturally good at this, but we get the sense that, like, for some reason, a self-effacing, like, lack of self-esteem is inherent.
Yeah, it's not competence training, it's confidence training.
Yes, exactly.
And as part of that, True wants to make sure that Ipse gets some downtime too, but in a way that makes them feel productive, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that, but I definitely agree that, like, I see this as, I'm not trying to beat Longreach at all, right? I'm trying to provide decent targets for practice. So I think I'm sort of on board with True's plan of, this is just to get Longreach's confidence up.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then I believe, True, you need to roll 1d6.
I do indeed.
How much stress do you have? Is overindulging on the table here?
Nope, I'm on 6.
Perfect.
Oh,
That was
no!
Oh no.
It looks like we are doing 2 cut looses.
Alright, well...
For the record, she has added to her connection clock with Ipse.
Yeah.
Ipse deserves space to be their own person. They are an individual. I can see they care.
Wonderful.
But this isn't super relaxing for True. I think maybe the last one is Longreach and Ipse are having a really nice kind of communal bonding moment, and Longreach accidentally shoots just a little too late, and in the background a blimp starts to sink. No, that was... Oh. It's... she's, like, reaching up to pat the arm of the truck. I'll take care of it. She, like, pulls back up her sleeves and walks off. Stalks off camera. If Ipse seems to be enjoying themselves, they will find, like, once a week or once every few days, perhaps, they just have long-range weapons training added as, like, a half-hour block somewhere on their calendar.
Nice. Yeah,
great.
Great.
That sounds good.
Long-range weapons training. Training a long-range weapon.
Nice. Okay. Does anyone else have anything specific that they'd like to get into?
Do we want to run the Julius Mike cut loose now?
Yeah, so do you want to do this with Julius driving or Mike driving?
I don't need to. I only have 2 stress, and I'm happy going into the next mission with 2 stress. That sounds fun. So I think it's if you need it.
Yeah, I have 4 stress. I think that's about the point where I think it's worth making a roll.
Yeah.
And I think, this is a pretty bustling hotel/monorail complex. And I think this is later, because this whole downtime isn't taking place over like one day and one night. So maybe like this might be a different day. And I guess we can move backwards and forwards in time as we need to do to make these things line up. But I think maybe it's kind of late. And where does Julius usually hang out?
Oh, I hadn't thought about this. I think he might be a brooder. I think he might be brooding, perhaps. Like in a way that it is not obvious that he is doing that, right? Like I think he is checking his weapons, but he is doing it on a balcony somewhere. And he's just like, doing like gun maintenance over and over again, right? And then like sharpening like sort of a comical range of differently sized combat knives.
Mike has been looking around and has finally found out where you are, and basically just comes up and doesn't even really introduce himself. I imagine there's like a desk in front of you, clears a little bit of space, slams down, or maybe not slam, but puts down a bottle on the table and a couple of shot glasses. And this is something that, he says, found this in one of the hotel rooms. Minibar still had a bunch of stuff left in it. And this is like a bottle of like branded tequila. On the bottle cap, it's got like one of those chibi heads of Baron Bastardos, because this is like the Baron Bastardos Black Star Voyage monorail experience. So it's like a branded Bastardos tequila at the top of it. And he pulls the head off and pours a couple of glasses and just slides one over to Julius, takes one himself.
Hello, Michael.
Downs it.
This looks rancid.
Before we get into this, 2 things. Number 1, I know we've had these on screen, but quick belief recap.
Sure. My belief about Julius is, turncoats can't be trusted. I'm watching you.
My belief about Mike is Michael has no understanding of how the war will crush him.
Great. Second thing, we didn't do this with the previous Cut Loose, but given the amount of stress that Michael has and the context, is it worth rolling now to see if this ends in overindulgence? We might want to play with that in mind.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. It's just 1d6, right?
Yeah.
That's a 5.
Oh,
it isn't
boy!
Well,
how exciting.
hold it.
Do we want to work out what that is as the scene goes? Maybe not pick it up.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I don't know, because like some of these are things where like it's going to be hard to work them in retroactively. Like one of them is roll an additional entanglement. I don't want you to role play out a scene and then to have to like retroactively figure out, hold on, how did X entanglement come from that,
Mm-hmm.
I made some notes of stuff that could come up, and brag feels like it might be a thing that comes up.
Mm.
Do you have any thoughts, Julius, of what might be interesting?
I mean, I think it's. I don't know them off the top of my head, and it's your downtime, right? So I'm good for anything you want to do. I think this scene will be interesting, regardless of how you want to do the overindulge.
Just there's attract trouble, which is additional entanglement. Brag, which is take -2 trust with your patron faction, and impropriety, where you make an ass out of yourself in front of the pilot that joins you and reset your connection clock with them to 0.
I don't think impropriety is very interesting. I think brag is.
Yeah.
This is the archetypical, like, getting drunk and getting into trouble sort of cut loose, right? So, like, brag seems like a good option.
Yeah, there's as long as Mike gets an opportunity to talk about himself and his deal, I think we can get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Julius sort of like looks at the shot glass and he says, "This looks rancid," and then like, but in a complimentary way, like this is someone who's drank a lot of very bad booze in his life.
Salute. Clink the glasses and take another one.
Clink. Yep. That's the glass. Like absolutely no change in the expression. Just vaguely morose.
We get a camera cut of a vaguely morose expression on Julius. Michael's slightly grimacing, and then another cut to this comedy head of Baron Bastardos.
Yes! Yeah.
So.
Yes?
Mike scowls for a second there. You're going to stonewall me, huh?
Is there something specific on your mind, Michael?
Why'd you do it?
It's my job.
Is it?
It is.
Michael, gets kind of closer and it's getting closer and is, making very intense eye contact with you, like he's trying to, look you dead in the eyes while this conversation is happening. Is that the only reason?
Another drink.
Mike pours again.
Yep. And then just, opens his mouth, shuts his mouth, another shot. I don't like watching people I've fought with die.
Well, no one does.
Michael, I'm 61 years old, and I can tell you that it doesn't become any more pleasant.
You know, I used to be like you. Sitting around, sighing, hoping my problems would get solved if I was just sad enough at them. Down the shot. It's pathetic.
I think that giggle that I just did, that was not in character, but there is definitely a unamused smile. Damn, this man who is half my age is telling me this.
Yep.
I don't expect that this will be especially well received, but I don't believe I have any problems that are immediately soluble. I have a duty to this unit.
You were assigned to this unit.
Correct. I was not in a fit state to determine my own fate, and thus I left it up to the officers at the DFS.
Who you defected to. Who you
Correct.
defected to.
That is correct.
I was part of one of the first drops on this planet. Thought we'd have them voting lickety split. 3 years later, find myself having to deal with fucking insurgents. Rumours of some hero captain. You know, everyone used to be scared of you.
Yes.
Here you are.
Drinking this noxious tequila.
Yeah. You can blame Exodus Republic for that. Holds it up looking at the brand on the end. No, I don't think they were really planning for this for the taste. You know, I think these things are collectible. It's the head. Rolls it around in his finger.
Do you think we could get anything from the fandom types?
Maybe.
And I try not to blame anyone but me for my current situation.
Oh, I bet. Why? Why
Yeah.
join the DFS?
I was wrong. I spent much of my life being wrong.
I think we've been going through this conversation, and I think it's been really drawn out. There have been a lot of pauses, so Mike's starting to get a little bit...
absolutely.
Do you think you're hot shit?
I think I'm competent. Less than I was. You could certainly beat me in a fight. Nearly anyone could. This is all for show. He sort of gestures at the fact that he's built like a brick shithouse.
Uh-huh. Mike kind of gets up for this, and kind of paces around. What is your problem? Why won't you rise to anything? Why are you just sitting there?
This is like, when somebody gets very drunk and they don't become noticeably drunk, they just sort of get quieter and more themselves. Michael, you couldn't do anything to me I haven't already done to myself.
Robbing me of everything, are you? Damn. Am I supposed to be grateful to you?
No. I did my job. You did your job. You patched up my mech. I'm very grateful. It's important to me.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Would you like to know?
Know what?
Would you like to know why it works?
Yeah. I think if Michael wasn't necessarily drunk, he might not have said that, but he is drunk, so...
Julius gives you this, for a second, just this totally beatific smile, and he says with a completely straight face, love.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited and sound balanced by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at cvblight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.